He's going to let you know how to buy the DVD if you would like, and he's also going to share it with you today and let you know what's in these scrumptious things that we've been eating and drinking.
Yes.
Dan?
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, you got to buy the DVDs, man. No, so what I do when I'm in the kitchen, I guess we're going to go practical, since yesterday we went philosophical, and everyone seemed to enjoy that a lot. So that was cool. I appreciate your guys' attention. I'm glad that there's some transformation happening within 24 hours here, or what? Anybody? Like a shift in the way you're seeing certain things about the food trip or whatever? Some heads nodding, yeah? Makes some sense, some of the things I've shared with you guys?
A lot of sense.
And then my heart goes out to you because it's real easy when the guy's here hooking you up and the salad bar is laid out, but then when you got to go home and make this happen for yourself, you know, it takes a little more work. For me, it's like blindfolded, eyes closed, backwards, I could make a smoothie. I've been doing it every day for so long now, you know. So when I come in and, you know, I have a couple of days to spend with you, and we didn't get to go into any of the food preparation at all, so I'm going to do something I've never done before, which is to just try and explain to you some of the recipes we had so that you can have practical stuff that you can use to continue this after I leave. And then I thought maybe I'll come visit again in 6 months and hit you guys again, maybe. You know? So, and we can keep planting the seeds, cultivating the garden of this life so that you guys can continue to improve and have better experiences. Because the raw foods, you heard me say yesterday, you just can't believe it until you do it. You're on a whole nother level. But what happens is you go raw, and then you feel so good, but then you have the fall from grace. And that's when you get it. You don't really realize, yeah, I feel a little bit better. But then you go back and eat some heavy food or some junk food, and the fall from grace. And then you go back onto that, and you kind of slip off track for a while. And then you realize, oh my God, remember when I was raw? How much better I felt? That's the contrast. And that's what wakes you up to, I got to get back to Shangri-La, you know what I mean? And you just got to keep on cultivating this. So people have 30-day challenges and 90-day juice cleanses and 30 days raw. That's not my style. Let me plant this one in your hearts. This is forever. This is till the day you leave the planet. Where do you want to level off? When does your potential stop? So the diet is one small part, but it's very important. And the more you understand the diet, eating the moderate amount of the most highly nutritious, energizing food as possible, that's going to be a foundation for energy, mental clarity, and then anything you want to do in this life is improved by that. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Yes! That's so cool, you guys. This is such a great group. I have really feel you guys in my heart. You know, I'm pretty much guarded a lot, just because it's kind of crazy what I've got myself into, you know. But you guys have been very kind and said many great things, and you've been very receptive and just cool. You guys have been cool, and I appreciate that a lot. So now, what are you guys going to do when you go out of here? Does anyone think they want to keep moving on with this thing? Salads, smoothies, juices, fruits?
Yeah.
So let's keep the fruit bowls.
Yeah, fruit bowls will be filled.
Every
Here,
day.
at
Let's
the
make
office.
that an office thing. Like there should be fruit
Does
in
everybody
the
want
bowls.
the fruit bowls to be filled at the office?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody likes that?
That's the most beautiful thing I think I've ever heard in my
That's
life.
pretty easy.
I got goosebumps. I mean, because if it ain't a banana, it could be a Snickers bar. And the difference physiologically and on your brain and your intention and your consciousness between a Snickers and a banana, it's pretty profound if you understand the subtleties of the laws of nature, you know. So let's talk about what we can do, and I can take a few minutes. Like I said, I'm going to leave you high and dry. It's so easy when the dude's here, you know, handing you a plate full of the most delicious. I mean, I make it the best, you know, because I've been doing. It's simple, right? I mean, was that like an awesome salad bar or what? So much love, so much freshness, simplicity. So, did anyone like the dressings?
Love it.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I know about most of you tried all three of them, didn't you? Yep. Bad food combining. Sorry, but we just you had to try it. So let's go over, we got the pads of paper out. Let's do the simple orange one first, because that's a staple that I rely on time and time again. In fact, I had it last night for dinner when I went home. Get your pad of paper, eat your boss, that's cool.
Whoever doesn't have pad of paper.
And then you guys can reference this video afterwards as well. It'll have this video, you guys can go to it tonight to my YouTube and reference it and get that one again. And there's hundreds of free videos on YouTube for you to get cool, crazy recipes. You got to put up with my, oh Lord, what's that good word for that? Eccentric behaviors, if you will. I do strange things like wear no shirt sometimes and dance around to music. But it keeps it entertaining. Kids love this stuff. I mean, kids, they think I'm a rock star, and I'm just like fruits, vegetables. I mean, how cool is it? But really, it's the coolest thing in the world. Health is cool. Health is hip. Being fat and tired and sick, that's not cool. To me, that's my preference. Health, happiness, energy, that is cool and sexy and hip. And it is the modern it. So I'm trying to make fruits and vegetables cool, so I do a lot of weird stuff, clown wigs. So it's been great to have this opportunity to show another side of myself, a more serious side, to help you professional people who are just, in my book, all good. Everyone got their paper? Okay, cool. So the dressing, the orange one, was really light, wasn't it? But that was just tomatoes, which was cherry tomatoes, but it doesn't matter. Let's make it simple. Let's go tomato, orange, garlic, and sea salt. You could just, now see, I never measure in my life. Chocolate chip cookies, when I made those back in the day, you think I measured anything? Sometimes they were thick, fat cakes, and sometimes they, it didn't matter. I just got it till I got it right, you know. I never measure anything in the raw food kitchen. The only way to ruin raw food is if you heat it up. Other than that, who cares if it's a pile of weirdness? You'll get it right next time. Just eat it. Because you just want the nutrition anyways. And develop this as an art. But once you've got that basic recipe right there, which is a basic staple, because you want to keep it low fat for most people. I don't see any bodybuilders in here. So you want to keep high energy, low fat diet. That's a non-fat, no overt fat dressing. And it's delicious, right, sir?
Yes.
Question, just a little bit off track, but like when you take like a multivitamin, like Centrum or something like that, a one a day, how can they possibly pack all those milligrams of all those vitamins in that little pill?
It doesn't matter because there's no enzymes anyways, and you can't isolate God's consciousness. You can't take nature and make it into a man-made capsule. A banana is a banana. It knows exactly what it needs to do. Your body recognizes it, but the little pill,
Yeah.
it's expensive peat. There's no enzymes, there's no biocatalysts.
So it's really nothing.
It sounds really good to the intellectual mind. We've got to go beyond the intellect. We've got to go into the realm of common sense. That's what raw foods is. You go beyond the intellect of this. And you never woke up in the morning and said, oh, I wish I had more zinc in my diet. No, you wake up and you say, I wish I had more energy. Right? Whoever woke up and said, I wish I had more niacin. No, but you wake up and say, oh, crap, I got to quit partying so much. I wish I had more energy. I feel like crap. I can't believe it. What is it? Monday? No. You know what I mean? You wake up and say, I wish I had more energy. Where's the energy? It's in the subtle vibrations of the fruit growing off the trees. It vibrates. It's life. So dressings like this, you get that basic one, and then guess what you can do? Boom, you got the basics. How long does it take to make that? Less than a minute in your blender. Okay? You blend that up. Then you can take some fresh dill. Boom. Now you have a nice dill dressing. Or, if you're not into dill, you can take basil. Boom. Or you can take cilantro. Boom. Or you can do cool stuff like oregano and sage. So any herb or combination of herbs would go good with that. And then that's like the most basic, easy, perfect, low-fat staple. You could eat that 2 or 3 times a week and never get tired. And it takes a minute to make. Now, what else can you add to that? Anything. You could add half of an avocado or a whole avocado if you're feeding a couple people. And blend in the avocado. See what I'm saying here, how this goes out? Okay, so that was the light orange dressing. Now, some of you might not do this one, but maybe you will get out your blenders. I don't know. Some of you will, but let's do the more fancy one. This is one you'll pull out when you want to impress your friends. Okay, this is the coconut, almond, avocado, and basil dressing. Was the green one? Did anyone dig that one?
Yes.
Epic.
Well, there was two green ones.
Yeah.
Or the third, or the
We'll go over all these dressings because the dressings are the key, right? I mean, you know how to make a juice. We'll do a couple of juices. We'll try to fit in as much stuff as we can here.
So was this the middle one, the coconut?
The coconut was the very last one.
Last.
And so what we had soaked almonds. So remember to always soak your nuts and seeds if you can. Get into the habit of that. Yes, sir.
In water?
Soak the almonds in water for 12 to 24 hours.
But not sink water.
Yeah. Not toilet water.
Whatever. Let's not get too
Water.
complicated.
Bottled
Pure
water.
water, yeah. But if we get into too
Bottled
much
water.
detail, we're gonna lose the essence of.
Okay.
Just want to make sure everybody is gonna have the chance to get this. So, soaked almonds, and then coconut water. Now, many of you are not going to get the white coconuts. Of course, it is Florida; they're all over the
But
place.
you can buy coconut water.
You can buy the coconut water in the can, and it's fine. It's not the best, but but you got to put yourself into the realist. Not everyone is a life regenerator and has a case of coconuts. You have a coconut tree? Who's going to climb the coconut tree tomorrow and make this dressing? Oh,
Johnny.
He's already climbed it.
He's already been up
he's
there.
the man for sure, man. He's hooking it up in the kitchen.
Coconut water.
Walk with Jan and stuff. Whoa, what's up? You want to work with me on the road, baby? You'll make my job easier.
Yeah, Johnny's
Yeah,
awesome.
the man. So, stay on track here, Dan. All you crazies. I mean, this is the most difficult thing here for me to stay on track. Okay, I'm working. My mind is going. Okay, so we got almonds, coconut water, avocado. It's a fattier one, so go thin on this, and then garlic, sea salt, basil. And then you could throw a jalapeno in there if you want. Boom. We're going to keep that simple. So all you do again is blend that up. That one takes a few more minutes of prep. You got to have your soaked almonds, but it's still, when someone comes over and you want to make them, they're like, this salad, oh man, you say, and then they're like, all right. You know what I mean? It's a good one. It's like a winner at parties, you know what I mean? The last one was one of my favorites, yeah.
If you make these, how long will it last in the fridge?
Well, remember this. Anything can be preserved with citrus juice, lime, lemon, or orange. And when you preserve it with citrus juice, it lasts a lot longer. Put it in a glass jar, and it'll last up to 3 days.
Okay.
I like to make everything fresh. I'm the life regenerator. I like the living freshness, but life is life, you know what I mean? And if you're busy, you're busy. And if you can make a batch that's going to last a couple of days so you can have it tomorrow too, then put it in a glass jar, plastic lid, a few drops of lemon juice, stir it up. That'll keep it from oxidizing. Keep it in the fridge. Good to go. That's true with most raw foods, 2 to 3 days. It's about the limit. You don't want to lose that vitality. It's what it's all about. It's about that vitality. So source the freshest living foods that you can, all times. And you'll keep on keeping on. You know what I mean? Up, 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 up. Clearing out, expanding up. Laser beam. You know what I mean? Make your life what you want it to be. Okay, so the last one is a super duper awesomeness because it's kind of a dressing and a soup. And that is corn, red pepper, and garlic. And what else did I put in there? Then no avocado in that one. And then a little bit of sea salt. And then on that one, I took 3 different kinds of herbs. And I took cilantro, basil, and dill. And blended that into that one. Which is a soup / dressing. It was pretty good, that one?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's one of my ones that's... I like that one with the corn. Because it's the low fat, but it's hearty too, you know what I mean?
And that's a cold soup. You can have that cold.
Cold soup, it's a dip. You could thicken it up and take some zucchini. I use zucchini for my like nacho chips. You know what I mean? When you have corn chips, I just take slices of zucchini, make some guacamole. You know what I mean? You guys know how to make guacamole? Everyone here, it's pretty easy. That's raw. You know, put tomatoes and all your favorite stuff and the guacamole, and then take zucchini chips. Instead of tortilla chips with the fried fat and all that excess salt and those carbohydrates that clog up your kidneys. Because the high heated carbohydrates will plug up your kidneys faster than anything else. And when the kidneys stop, the whole thing starts shutting down. More people have kidney and adrenal problems than don't. You know, because the little tubes in your kidneys, you know, they just can't handle those long bonds. They like the fruit and the vegetable sugars and the fibers. Other than that, you're going to start, you high heat food, that's the thing. You high heat food, you coagulate it, you create chemical bonds, and it plugs up. I mean, the blood vessels are smaller than your hairs, and these big globs of chunks are plugging those up, causing occlusions, and then your hair goes gray, and you don't get minerals to your skin, and so raw foods, fruits and vegetables.
What about dehydrators?
Dehydrators. I sold mine like 4 years ago. Why? Because everybody's already dehydrated enough. Inflammation equals dehydration. I'm a healer. I help people heal from chronic and acute illnesses, as well as totally regenerate their tissues. So I gave my dehydrator away like 4 years ago, and I've never dehydrated anything since. Now, I've eaten a few dehydrated things at a raw food restaurant, but it's not my favorite thing, because then your body has to take water from itself to absorb the dehydrated food. So I eat almost all of my food, except on a special occasion at a raw food restaurant, totally with no dehydrator. You know, so the water in the food is one of the keys. The water, the electricity, the minerals. I mean, so I pretty much avoid dehydrating. Even my pizzas, all my gourmet raw that I have on DVD coming up, I don't use no dehydrator. Why? Because who has 12 or 15 hours to dehydrate something anyways? I mean, it's cool, like you can leave it at home, but I'm just not a fan. I'm trying to go for the highest levels, which is the most simple, high water, energizing fruits. So everyone in here can pretty much eat like fruits all day, maybe a salad at lunch, real light, and it's usually dinner where everyone goes for the little bit more heavier. But you'll get more work done if you eat the fruits all day. And you can roll with that. Then you go home and have a nice plan of something a little heartier to help you come down. But the bowls of fruit, you know, and the stuff we had today is probably lighter than what most of you are used to, right? But it's, for me, it was pretty heavy. You know what I mean? So it depends on where you're at. You know, for you guys, that's why I do what I do. You know, you guys, for you, it's elevating. And then for someone who's more on like a fruitarian thing, it's kind of like, whoa, that was a lot heavier. Because the fruits are just boom. They're high vibration, high light, simple, feed your brain, get your work done, keep your body moving throughout the day without bogging you down. Because most human beings spend their days digesting food. They spend all their life force energy digesting heavy foods. All the blood leaves the brain down into the stomach. And when you eat fruit, it digests itself. So all that blood is up in your head, and you're making more money, making more sales, getting clearer ideas, writing down your goals, snapping them off one by one, setting bigger goals. Because your mind is, the blood is in your brain, the energy goes up, you know, instead of down. A lot of humanity's energy is down. They want more territory, they want to be better than the other guy, they want to fight. I mean, we're in America, so we have a pretty high level of consciousness in this country, actually, but humanity's just still at the animal level. We're still killing each other for no reason. For more stuff, whatever, it's crazy. But as soon as you become more fruitarian-ish and your consciousness evolves, then you're not even into that stuff. So eat the simple fruits during the day, and then if you need to, then the veggies at lunch or whatever to stabilize, and bring your little salad dressings or whatever. I'm not sure, I don't know any of you well enough to know what you're going to do, but what I would recommend is that whoever's got what talent, bring it in here and try to help each other. You know what I mean? If someone can make salad dressings, I mean, get $5 from everybody, and if you like to make salad dressings, get a couple jars, and then, you know, you bring in the salads. Whoever's the artist here that's going to do it, you know, try to figure out a way to make this thing work, to make this raw food thing more of the office's trip. I mean, I think there's going to be some good stuff out of here. I mean, you guys could go either way. That Life Regenerator guy, he was cool, but that's it. You know, then you guys forget about the whole thing and nobody cares. Or you could really like go, yeah, hey, let's try to talk about this and watch YouTube videos and here, try this, read this book. This is great, Arnold Ehret. Or hey, try this new recipe. Or you want to go out and have a salad or whatever. Let's go to find a juice bar. Let's drive up to Whole Foods, get lunch, whatever. Support each other, you know. Because when you have that team effort, it makes it a lot easier. You know, everywhere I go, it's all raw food, so I don't have to worry about ever. You know, they're going to have fruit there for me, vegetables. I'm the raw food king of the world. You know what I mean? So it's not no big deal for me. Plus, it's so much a part of me that everywhere I go, it just becomes that. Because I'm not deviating. Because I know what I'm here to do and what I love. And all the foundation is the raw foods. So let's do more practical stuff, less philosophy. Okay? You already know that I have the answer to everything, right? I've already convinced you all of that, right?
Let's go with that juice you made last night for everybody.
The smoothie.
Yeah, the smoothie.
That is a winner because that is a staple smoothie. You can never go wrong, and just about anybody, any age will drink that. And that's going to be coconut, again, as the base. Always prefer to drink the white ones if you can and learn to open them, but the canned stuff, again, is acceptable. Coconut water, banana, date, spinach, cinnamon. You don't need the cinnamon. And then you can branch off from that. You could throw a couple of pears in there. You could throw a couple of peaches in there. Apple wouldn't go that well, but that's the basic smoothie. The basic smoothie is this. Let me give you this as the basic smoothie, and that's just water and bananas. That is a foundation you can start from. Then what do you want? Do you like spinach? Oh, cool. Do you like lettuce? Oh, cool. Or do you like arugula? You can throw dandelion in there. You want to get those greens in there somehow. And making a banana smoothie is one of the best, fastest, easiest ways. Why? Because it takes a minute. You peel 4 bananas, you put them in the blender, you put a cup or 2 of pure water, depending on how thin you want it. And then what? Well, whatever you want. And of course, you're going to make some that are not going to work. You know, over the years, you go, oh, that don't work. Some people try to juice leeks or something. It's like, you can't juice leeks. I mean, you don't do that. You'll ruin everything. But you learn that. I did it. I learned it once, and I was like, okay, you never juice leeks again. You just don't do it. And you learn that, and you get it, and you're done. You know. And so you got to try some stuff. You might be like, okay, I'm going to try this banana date thing and throw some cherry tomatoes in there and go, oh, that doesn't work. You know. But like banana pear, banana apple, banana date, banana spinach, banana macadamia nut, you know, whatever. If you want a little heavier. Banana pineapple, banana plum. Get the basics. The banana's the basic smoothie. You know what I mean? Banana blueberries here. Banana blueberry strawberry. Epic. Okay? See, does everyone kind of get the gist, how simple it is? Bananas and water. And then get creative. You know what I mean? And find a way to get tasty, delicious smoothies in you. Because the smoothies are for the practical. Why? Because it takes a minute to do the whole thing. To make it and to rinse the thing out, it's a minute of your time. You know what I mean? Now the juice, that takes anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how much you're going to make and what kind of juicer you've got, how small you got to cut it. The juices are more therapeutic, but the smoothie is like a fun meal. Easy, you know? Is that my music? Probably is. Of course. Can I take a break? Pandora. So, let's see. That was a good one. The next, what else do you guys want to know? We did the dressings, which is key.
The morning drink.
The one we had today.
Yes.
The lemon ginger blast, world famous. Did anyone enjoy that?
Oh, yes.
Only a couple people.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Great.
Come on, let's get enthused here. That was it. Lemon. No, because you know what? It wasn't as sweet as it wasn't as sweet as it should have been. It wasn't the most epic lemon ginger blast I've ever made. There was no mint, but let me go over the ingredients for that, and I'll give you the real one. And then basically, I can't tell you how much of each thing because it depends on how much you want to drink. A serving of juice for a male, for a grown man who wants to get through the morning, is 32 ounces. I will drink 64 of a lemon ginger blast and go for 3 or 4 hours on that. Physical exercise training, etc. at the gym, whatever. So the lemon ginger blast is apple. The only thing you need to know about the lemon ginger blast is to go as heavy as you need to for it to taste good on the apples. I go heavy on the apples on the lemon ginger blast, even though I can drink straight dandelion juice, and I've done it. So I will tell you, apple, lemon, ginger, celery, cucumber. Now that's the base. But do not neglect the greens in this one, because the greens are the key to your health and your sanity. Green herbs restore sanity to human minds. Brings them back down to earth. If you don't eat enough plants, I don't know, you're out there in junk food land. And you're not tapping into the universal source of your own power. I don't know how else to explain it. But once you get tapped in on the natural foods, your whole life will change. Your priorities will change, and it'll all be in a good, natural, healthy way. You know, I've never heard anybody, like I told you yesterday, I ate more fruits and vegetables and my whole life went to hell in a handbasket. Never happens. Always gets better. So eat the herbs. I'm going to go with the lemon ginger blast, and then I'll have some questions. Now, we've got the base, right? Someone reiterate. Who?
Dandelion.
No, I want to hear someone in the crowd. What's your name, bro?
Peter.
Peter. What's the base for the lemon ginger blast?
Heavy apples, lemon, ginger, and celery and cucumber.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Now, we got some people paying attention. I love it. Love it. Okay, so next is the greens. Now, my favorite are, for this one, to really make it epic, the greens, dandelion, which is a liver cleanser, and helps to build strong bones, keeps your skin nice, keeps your liver nice, keeps your kidneys clean. Dandelion.
And the lemon ginger blast?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, see, we got the base. Then you can choose your greens. But I'm going to tell you my favorites and the reasons why. Because dandelion is just overall one of the best herbs in the world for the human body. And it's cheap and easy to find. Probably not down here. But yeah? Okay, everywhere. They grow everywhere. Dandelion, arugula. Major blood purifier. Love me some arugula. But don't want to go too much. Just enough. And that's why I say go heavy on the apples. And then the habanero, if you're into it. Or if you're not, you leave the habanero out. Or you could just shake a little cayenne in there at the end. Because the cayenne really expands the cardiovascular system. It really warms you up. It's like coffee, you know, in the morning. And then the key to the ultimate lemon ginger blast is fresh mint. That's what just twists it up into the next level. Now you can use any green you want for the lemon ginger blast, as long as you have the foundation right and you're heavy on apples and it's sweet, which it wasn't really that great this morning, I'll be honest with you. So I really apologize. It was good. It was good, but it wasn't like, there's so many people that it's hard for me to get it just right. You know, I made 5+ gallons of juice, and it was just all, I've never done a group this big. I've done 25 before, so now I'm doubling it. I'm still learning, you know. And I need a better juicer, a commercial juicer, and everything else. But we did good. We're doing it. You guys are raw. You're stoked. We're feeling good. I can feel the good vibes. Definitely need a more elevated level of focus today. Every single one of you. So that's very cool. So the LGB, we got it, right? Use whatever greens you like. And then whatever greens are around. Oh, you got some broccoli? What the hell? Throw it in there. I do. It's like it needs to get used up. Throw your broccoli in your lemon ginger blast. Whatever. Broccoli's a great food. Okay? Here's a great juice recipe for you now that it's at the top of my head. Apple, asparagus, and lemon. Kidney cleanser. Yeah, it's a good one. A lot of people are like, oh, that's weird. No, they taste it. Oh my God, it's so good. It's dead.
What was the third one?
Apple, asparagus, and lemon. And a little ginger in there is not bad either. So what other, are there any other recipes that you guys were stoked about? That you want? Tacos.
Yeah.
I don't know if my business partner is going to kill me. We just put those on the new DVD. He would say go ahead, but he might do so reluctantly. But everyone's going to buy the DVDs anyways because they love me.
Should we turn
And
on the camera?
yeah, turn the camera off. No, I don't care. I honor the people that I work with and stuff, but I know that the more you give, it's just, when I first started, I never asked nobody for nothing. People would write to me, hey Dan, how can I send you some of my money? I had nothing. I had no product, no nothing. So that's how it is when you just give and give. So I'm not really, so we'll do the tacos. And
Do you have the recipes on the DVD?
yes, I do. I've got some really cool DVDs, and I've got 4 more coming up that are twice as good as the ones. I've got 6 of them out now, and that was a real process of learning, but great recipes. I have Lose a Pound a Day, which is a really good one. It's a low-fat weight loss program. I've got green juice recipes for detox, and then I've got 6 of them and 4 more coming with some really great recipes on there to help you to learn this stuff. And I really cram-packed twice as many recipes onto these DVDs. Juicing for energy, low-fat raw vegan, and then I have the tacos is on the Party Foods DVD. So there's 9 more that you're not getting for free today. Everybody on YouTube, I view them as like a friend, And I try to connect with them. And some of them get me, Some of them do not understand my personality. But let's do the tacos, okay? Because the tacos are a lifesaver, right? It's a little more work, but I hope that you find the creativity to go in there and play with this thing. Let's do some walnut taco meat. God, you guys are awesome. Like, everybody is writing this stuff down. This is very cool. All right. So, walnut taco meat. Walnuts, cumin, paprika, sea salt, garlic, and a little bit of hemp or olive oil. I like the hemp oil myself. I think it balances out the walnuts nicely, but if I don't have hemp oil, I will use walnut oil. And you just put that in the food processor until you get it to the consistency that you want. Does anyone have a food processor? They're cool tools to have. They make the raw food lifestyle fun. I think in order of importance, in my personal experience, it's a juicer. But for some people, that would be a blender. If you're going to use the blender more, get a blender. But if the juicing is more therapeutic, and the food processor is just fun and can make the meat. You can't really make the taco meat without a food processor. But they have these little tiny $50 ones. And if it's a 1 or 2 serving thing, it'd be fine. So the walnut taco meat, did everybody get that?
What was that?
One more time.
Did you repeat it?
Okay, yes. Walnuts, garlic, sea salt, paprika, cumin, and then some type of oil, olive oil or hemp seed oil. And like I said, hemp is my favorite. It's good. And that's the meat. And then the taco shell obviously was romaine lettuce, or you could also use collard green wraps. I like romaine lettuce. It just works better. And then you put your favorite toppings: tomato, avocado, olives are good. We didn't have that yesterday, but corn, onions, jalapeno. Whoever the fastest writer is has to remind me of what I just said. I don't feel like... Is my head cut off, bro? I feel like I'm...
No.
It's good?
Mm-hmm. Good.
Cool. Awesome. Let me show you. Hi, I'm Dan McDonald. I'm the no-headed guy. I did an okay job at ironing last night. Not the best. It's all right. Now, that was that. A little shredded lettuce. Was there anything else that was on there yesterday that I missed? Oh, the cheese. It's hard to give up the cheese, man. Yeah, the casein, the casomorphine's in there. It's like, it makes you, numbs you out. Cheese has got a lot of, it's kind of like the baby cow, right? It goes to the milk because it's got these like opioid type receptors, type compounds that kind of numb you to make the baby come back to the milk. It's a very pleasurable sensation. So the baby cow comes to the mama milk, and it's got the casomorphines in there, and it makes the baby cow feel good, so it wants to live. And the same thing with the mama's milk too, for the humans. But what happens when you concentrate that, you get a nice brick of melted feel good. The problem is it's one of the most congesting foods that a human being could possibly put into their organism. So what do? we make a pistachio nut cheese, but we don't have the queso morphines in there. So it's not like as addicting. You know what I mean? We don't rely on it after a hard day's of work, stress. We go to the cheese or the pizza or whatever to numb us out. Cooked food is the numbed food. We all walk around numbed up. Let me tell you, when you wake up on raw, you're gonna, first several years, man, you're gonna wake up to things that you didn't know were there. And it might not be the most pleasant thing, but you wake up, and that's the key, and you evolve spiritually. You handle your business, because if you don't handle your business, it's gonna manifest itself as some kind of disease. And your business is your internal conflict. Inability to accept the fullness of the totality of all of you. You know what I mean? That some days are nice and some days are not nice. And some days you're nice and some days you're not nice. And if you can't accept that part of you that was not nice, then you're going to have conflict. You got to resolve it, let it go, accept. Not even the greatest spiritual master transcends the body until they're out of the body. And the vicissitudes that come, and the ability to get angry, to get tired, to lose it, to snap. We all do that. So we have to accept and release, and then the energy flows. Because if we don't accept, then what happens is it manifests itself somewhere. It'd say, look at me. If it has to go all the way to cancer, it'll do that. Look at me. Look at me. And if you don't look at it in your meditations or your contemplations of awakening through the raw food, which is very helpful, then it's going to come up. And it's going to come up as some kind of disease because something in you wants you to look at it. It needs you to. So that's the raw food awakening. So I didn't say it was going to be super easy. But it's going to be super meaningful. You're going to get more meaning out of life because you're going to be working through your stuff. You're going to be evolving. Is there anything more better than evolving as a human being? And that takes pain sometimes. It's constant. So we want to keep working at that stuff. So the raw awakening, be prepared for it. Be prepared to continue to evolve as you go down this road. Pistachio nut cheese. Pistachio nut cheese equals enlightenment. Just kidding. What's that?
How do you make pistachio?
We're getting to that right now. You take pistachio nuts, you put those in the food processor with a little bit of sea salt, and here's the key ingredient, nutritional yeast. That's how you make cheese out of anything, nutritional yeast and sea salt. Brazil nut cheese, Brazil nuts. Walnut cheese, walnuts. Pistachio nut cheese is one of my favorites. Pistachio nuts, nutritional yeast or brewer's yeast, and sea salt. And the macadamia one yesterday, you guys remember that? I did something new. I threw some cloves of garlic in there and a little paprika. Was that epic? I noticed that one disappeared and the pistachio nut cheese didn't. The pistachio nut cheese is a little bit more powdery, like a Parmesan. And the macadamia is a little bit softer. Yes, sir?
What is nutritional yeast?
You know, it's just, I think it's left over after the process of making beer.
Oh.
It's got vitamins and stuff in it. You know, it's just a fun thing. It's not like a fruit. You know what I mean? The fruit and the herbs are the best. But when you're trying to get off Wendy's and Chick-fil-A and McDonald's, we're doing what we got to do here, you know what I mean? And we're hooking people up and they're going, this is all right. I can do this. You don't want to just say, here's your carrot sticks and your romaine lettuce. Go raw. They're going to be like, oh my God. They're going to kill themselves, you know? They're depressed for like months. No, you say, here's some jalapeno poppers, you know what I mean, from the raw food restaurant. Whoa, dude, yeah, I can go raw. Because you got to have that. Because you know you can eat the fruit. You know you can drink the green juice, but can you do that all the time? Are you willing to just go Dan the Man, Life Regenerator, watermelon, and cucumber juice diet overnight? No, you're going to want to be depressed. You can't just eat carrot sticks and lettuce at first. But later on, you learn to appreciate. You just eat 12 mangoes and you're done. You know what I mean? That's for real. You go exercise and you work out and you feel like Superman. Or you just eat a huge watermelon and that's it. And other days when you're like, I'm busting my hump around here, right? So I'm like, give me some avocado, give me some corn, give me some of those heavier foods, you know what I mean? Because I'm like working. So you got to work with yourself. When you're by yourself, it's easy to sit cross-legged and eat watermelons. Because you're not putting out massive amounts of energy. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, I couldn't even sleep last night because when I'm up here, the energy that flows through me, it just, and then when I go home, it's like, about 3 in the morning, I finally calmed down, and then I'm back up at 5 again. So that's why I'm a little bit like this, you know what I mean, today. But it's cool. So you got to eat what you got to eat to get through. Keep living your life. You know, never get down on yourself about it. But just come back to it again and keep cleansing and healing and flushing and energizing. And the bowls of fruit, that's the greatest thing I ever heard. One should be there, one over there, one over there. Someone's always, whose job is it to make sure the bananas are in there, ripe, little brown speckles, some dates, you know, and then help each other out. That's cool. If you guys can keep that going, I highly encourage you to do that. Fresh apples, in season, you know what I'm saying? Mangoes are always messy, but the simple ones, like the apples and the oranges, you know what I mean? Take a couple oranges, go to the kitchen, slice those up. Grapefruits, watermelons. Make sure there's always a couple of watermelons in the fridge, or whatever you guys can do. You know, the watermelons are the best food ever for healing and regenerating and flushing, cleansing your body out. You know what I mean?
What about cantaloupes?
Same thing. The melons are the most alkalizing, easily digestible, hydrating, soothing foods. But you can't live off those every day a lot of times in an environment like this. You can, but you have to roll with the environment. You have to be as flexible as a reed. Sometimes you're going to be somewhere where the whole thing is just crazy energy. You're going to need to like eat something a little heavier. Because the energy fields, no matter what, they take you over. You think you have willpower, but you don't. Because you go there to grandma, there's the pie. You've had the grandma's pie every day. She ain't going to leave you alone until you drive by. You say, geez, grandma, I'm trying to go raw, but here, just take a bite, shut grandma up, you know what I mean, and leave me alone, and then go back and detox that pecan pie out of there. You know what I mean? Seriously, it's like the energy fields, you can't, that's why you create those energy fields yourself to create your life. You go around successful people, you go around raw food people, you go around health-minded people, you go into these fields of energy that, you know, potentiate your intentions. You know what I mean? If you're trying to sober up, you don't go hang out with your buddies at the bar. You know what I mean? You go to an AA meeting, or you go to the gym, or you go to the other people that are trying to get sobered up too, and you're all talking about staying in that field of sobriety. This is very important. You know, I mean, I don't want to go back to prison kind of stuff. Whatever it takes. You know what I mean? This guy's funny sometimes. I'm much more comfortable today. And a lot more tired. I was like, screw it. They're not going to take me seriously anyways. But you better eat your fruits and vegetables. That's all I care about once I leave here. So let's do a couple more recipes and then we'll wrap it up. What else do we need to know? Like, what's going to... The fruit, that's easy. The smoothies, easy.
Chocolate, caramel.
Oh, the caramel apples. This will be an epic situation because this is a dessert that will keep you surviving. You take some dates. This is caramel apples. You just take some dates, some coconut water, and you blend that. And then you take your apple slices and you dip it in there. You can put vanilla bean. So let me just make sure I'm doing this simply so it can be written down on a piece of paper. Because otherwise I'd show you and you'd get it. Unfortunately, we didn't have that opportunity to do a food class. So you take the dates, put them in the blender, and just, you know, you work a little bit of water. Not too much, just a little bit, and see if it works. You want it to be kind of a nice plop. You don't want it to be too runny. You don't want it to be too thick either. But if you imagine dates, coconut water, yummy. Then you take your apple slices, or you can take bananas. That is really good. When you pour that over bananas, yummy. Okay? And you can use cinnamon in that. You can use vanilla. You could add a few pecans to make it a little bit more creamier. Be delicious. And that's just caramel apples. That's like a snack for kids or adults, and that's a high energy snack. That's when you're pressing, you need energy. Dates are really what it's about. That's a divine food. 4 or 5 dates, you continue to hike another 20 miles through the desert. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. A real blessing, what dates are. And I know this is just not enough. I never can give enough of this information to make it so that you can get to where I'm at and make it so it's so darn easy you just don't know what to do with yourself. But yes, sir.
I have a question for you. I'm supposed to stay away from salt. Most of these have sea salt in them. Is Himalayan salt better than sea salt?
It is For sure. Well, the Himalayan and the sea salt are similar. And of course the sea salt is a little bit different than the other iodized salt, which is high heated and then demineralized salt. But I understand the need to stay away from salt. I actually do avoid it myself. So
Do you
when I
recommend keeping it out totally then, or?
what happens for me is if I start eating salt, I just want to eat and eat and eat. And if I just eat plain, simple foods and source the best fruits and vegetables, I can keep those moderate levels of eating. Because food for me was, you know, I did all the drugs. Food is like my last drug to beat. You know what I'm saying? And I had a huge addiction to salt. And I've been pretty much salt-free for quite some time now. It just works better for me. But it's at a higher level. You know what I mean? It's a discipline. It's a realization that sometimes you base your meals on salt. So the ideal is a salt-free diet. But if you're coming from these other, where 98% of humanity is coming from, they're not raw foodists, you know, that avoid salt. It's better to use that, of course, and make your raw foods taste better, develop your art, cultivate the fruit and veggie mentality. So I'm just trying to get you to go like to the store, go to the produce section more often. So if we throw in sea salt, there's nothing wrong with it either. It just has a tendency to make you want to keep eating, and then you kind of get addicted to it. And then you lose the ability to really, really eat simply. So really what I am is like, the raw foods is sort of a spiritual path for me. Because if you can master the sense of taste, there is no sense that you cannot master. That will be the hardest one. Because that is the most primitive. So I'm not trying to be like a sackcloth and ashes, you know, skinny bag of bones eating turnips. But for me, it's just something, it's my personal path to master the senses and bring some balance into my life. Because it was a lot of drugs, alcohol, and then kind of food became my new drug. And then I kind of overate myself too many times. You know, and it really bogs you down when you do that. Too many food combinations, too much mixing. It messes you up. You want to just keep on graduating and evolving into higher levels. So that's the little thing on the salt. There's nothing wrong with salt. I don't think it's harmful, but what I think is that it makes your body hold on to water. So if you really want to lose some weight, when you go to tone up for one of the shows, you leave salt out for a couple weeks. And like when I go in for a water fast, I'll lose 20 pounds in a week. And most of that's just water that's being held on to that is the salt, because the water surrounds the salt to keep it in solution. You know what I mean? So you get a little bit of water weight, which nothing wrong with that, right? Because if you're out in the desert, you're going to be glad that you have that, and you have nothing to drink. You'll survive. You'll live another day longer than me. So you'll have to bury me. So I'll stay off the salt. You eat the salt. You know what I mean? So it's a really no big deal. Like some people get so political about raw foods. Okay, cool. So I'm going to wrap this up. Are there any? Anyways, let me just say this: don't get fanatical about anything, because it's all good. Everything is God. I like to say God isn't anti-anything. You know what I mean? So you got these raw fooders on this side, and they're having parades about this. And over here, and everybody's fighting about what raw foods is right. That's why I just say, yo, just eat more fruits and vegetables. Don't trip. You know what I mean? It's all good. God isn't anti-anything. Everything is there at the appropriate time. It's all got a purpose. Meat has a purpose. Probably to keep us alive in the northern hemisphere so we could make it here, so we could become raw vegans again. Otherwise we would have died out, you know. So thank God for meat, right? But most raw foodists don't look like it. Oh, God, you're killing animals. It's this whole dumb thing. But you got to see the biggest picture. So always keep your mind open. I'm not even interested in my own thoughts. They're just irritating. So, anyways, is there any burning questions?
Yeah, I have a burning question. Flaxseed oil. How do you feel about putting that flaxseed oil in the smoothies?
That's fine. That's fine, yeah. If anybody's trying to lose weight, though, the best thing to do is go on just take the fat out, you know, because
Well, it's good for the brain, it's good for the
Yeah, it
It's
is.
an excellent.
But your body will use all the fats that it's got as it's burning it. As you're losing weight, it's going to burn up and it's going to use that. So until you get a low-fat diet is good for everybody. We only need the smallest amounts. You want energy, sugars from fruits and vegetables first. Keep going back to that, and then worry about your fatty acids. And then after that, if you're a bodybuilder or whatever, or an athlete, then you worry a little bit about amino acids. But bananas have amino acids in them, so does spinach, you know what I mean? So, sir.
Ideally, and I'm speaking ideally, would there be no chance of a warm meal? Or how does one satisfy the craving for something warm?
Hey man, you know, there ain't nothing wrong with steamed veggies.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of soup.
Okay.
You gotta be realistic. Some people, they don't understand that I'm the most chill dude that ever lived. I do what I do because I'm into it and I want to master myself. But is a little bit of steamed broccoli gonna kill you? Come on, man.
Okay.
No problem. Steamed broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, asparagus, or a warm soup, butternut squash soup. Boil some water, throw the butternut in there, throw the garlic in there, a little sea salt. Cold day. I mean, what's it going to do? Kill you? No, of course not. It's just going to warm you up. What's the ideal? Raw food all the time. You guys have a great opportunity living in Florida with the weather. Believe me, up in Seattle when it's 10 degrees, I'm going to eat a watermelon. It's great. There's a frozen icicle over there. He's the life regenerator. I'm a raw foodist. I'm really happy, you know. Okay, thank you so much. Unless there's, that's it? Good? We're good? You got it. Cool. Thanks, everybody.